a GSL.
Welcome everybody to the GSL round of 32. Code S here. My name is Valdez. Joined with me is Moonglade once again. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastically, Valdez. I'm very excited for another day. We got a very interesting group here with a lot of dangerous players. All of them have a chance to get out of this group.
For sure, Moonglade. But first, as is the way of Code S, we're going to see, or hear rather, from all four of our players in the group.
참 나들이 가기 좋은 날씨인데 휴가도 반납하고 오늘을 위해 준비했을 C조 선수분들 바로 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 가장 먼저 이 지난 시즌 자신의 커리어 하이인 첫 8강 진출을 이루면서 이번에는 코드 A 없이 코드 S에 직행했는데요. 김혜영 그린리스의 섹시보이 이병일 선수 만나보겠습니다.
So he was actually seeded into GSL this season, and of course that is Ro.
네, 프로리그 결승전 잘 봤습니다. 엄청나던데 요즘 기량이 상승했다고 느끼시나요?
She saw Pro League Finals and saw that he did really well, and she asked him, "Do you think your skills have improved recently?"
오늘 죽음의 조로 불리고 있어요. 조에 대해서 어떻게
He
생각하세요?
says his skills are improving every day, but he also had good luck last weekend.
그냥 무난하게 올라갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
네,
How do you
과연
feel about your
오늘
group
조의
this time?
1티어다운
He says he agrees that it is the group of
사실
death, but he
저그
still
분위기가 좀
feels like
좋지
he can
않습니다.
advance from the
아직까지
group.
16강에 진출한 저그가 없거든요. 첫 진출자가 될까요?
There are actually no Zergs that have made it to the round of 16 yet from the first two groups we've had. Do you think you're going to make it? He says all Zergs are having a hard time these days, but
어쨌든 저그가
he says he'll just need a little bit of luck today
이번
as
시즌
well.
8강 이상
And he
목표로
says if
당연히
he gets
생각하고
even
계실
just a
것
little bit of
같은데
luck, he
각오
should be able to
들어보도록 하겠습니다.
advance and be the first Zerg to advance.
이번 시즌 준비 열심히 해가지고
What is your goal for this season in GSL?
무대 한번 받아보고 싶습니다.
Says
네,
he prepared
알겠습니다. 오늘
really
활약
well
기대하겠습니다.
for this season, so he wants to
네.
make it all the way to
자,
the
지메어
finals
그린리스의
of
첫
this season.
번째 이주자
Hard
이병열
beat.
선수
Wow,
만나봤고요.
that
자,
is ballsy.
이어서 이병열 선수의 상대입니다. 자, 코드 A 경기 가장 마지막
Now,
tur에서
let's meet the opponent of Rogues.
진출했는데요. 이번이 두 번째
He
코드
is
S인
Trust.
CJ 엔투스 최성희 선수 만나보겠습니다.
He advanced from Code A.
안녕하세요. 네,
Here he is.
이제 두 번째네요. 네, 소감이 어떠세요?
It's the second time in GSL. How do you feel?
네, 상대가 좀 힘들긴 하지만 그래도
My opponent is a really tough opponent.
네. 그래도
But I prepared a lot for today, so I feel okay.
침착해지시고 안정감을 찾은 것 같더라고요.
근데 다시 긴장돼.
You feel more calm since it's your second interview,
네.
but he still says he feels nervous right now.
네, 커리어상에서 최성희 선수가 신인이다 보니까 최 약체로 꼽히고 있어요. 자신감 어떠세요?
A lot of people think that you're the
당연하다고
weakest
생각되고
link in this group. How do you think about
준비
that?
많이 해와서 그래도 희망이 있을 거라고 생각해요.
네,
I
조에
can
두
see
명의 적이가
people
있습니다.
why they pick me as the last place
자신
player,
있으세요?
but I prepared a
저번에도
lot for
저번 두
today,
명한테 떨어지고
so I have a lot of hopes going into today's games.
이번에 좀 저번보다는 쉽다고 생각하기 때문에 저거전이 이제
네.
올라갈 수 있을 거라 생각해요.
I think my PVC improved a lot since last season.
분위기를 탔으면
I think I can do
좋겠는데
better
최성희
against
선수
those players.
오늘 32강전 각오
So I feel that I
들어보겠습니다.
can advance to the round of 16.
이번에 꼭 올라가서 조재명식 해보고 싶고요. 꼭 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
I
네,
really hope
알겠습니다.
I can
우리
advance
기대하겠습니다.
so I can participate in the group selections.
자, 바로 세 번째 선수 소개해드리겠습니다. 와, 이 선수가 나오길
Big
아주
words
기다리신
from
분들이
the
많을 것
probably fourth place
같은데요.
player of the group.
정명훈
Yeah,
선수
same thing we
바로
got actually on
만나보겠습니다.
Wednesday at a
안녕하세요.
Ragnarok.
That's true.
Some big
네,
words. We'll see how that
처음
turns out for him.
뵙네요.
But now we're going to talk to, of course,
반갑습니다.
Fantasy. Everybody knows this
자,
guy.
오늘 죽음의
Let's see what he
조로 이렇게
has to
시작을
say.
하게 됐는데 소감 어떠세요?
일단 조가 좀 쉽지
You're in the group
않지만
of death.
그래도
How do
연습
you
많이
feel about
해가지고
that?
자신 있고요.
He
오늘 좋은
says
결과
it's
있을
not
것
an easy
같아요.
group,
연습 많이 하셨다고
but he
하셨는데
practiced really
상대가
hard, so
어윤수
he's confident that
선수예요.
he'll get good results
두 분이
today.
친하시죠?
네, 되게 제가 좋아하는 동생인데 이렇게
네.
좀 일찍 만나게 돼서 좀 아쉽고요.
네.
그래도
He says
같이
he's
올라가면
really
될
good
것 같아요.
friends with Sue,
그럼 먼저
and he
누가
did not
올라갈
want
것
to meet him in the
같으세요?
early rounds of
제가
GSL.
형이니까 먼저 올라갈게요.
But he
형이니까
thinks and he feels that
실제로도
both
그렇게
of them can
말씀하셨어요?
actually advance from the group.
실제로도 두 분이서 이야기하실
And
때
he says
그렇게
because he's older than Sue,
서로
he thinks that he
최선을
should
다하자고
advance
했는데,
first and Sue
같이
should
올라갔으면
advance
좋겠어요.
second.
네, 제가 코데이 경기를 보니까 경기력이 정말 무시무시하더라고요. 오늘 준비는 어떻게
Watching
준비
you playing
잘
Code A, you play
만족스럽게
in fact
하셨는지
very well.
궁금하네요.
네, 준비는 열심히 했는데 준비한 대로만 나오면은
Do you feel
좋은 경기
satisfied
보여줄 수
with your
있을 것 같아요.
practice?
네,
for
오늘
the
정명훈
round of
선수의
32?
경기력 무척 기대가 됩니다. 참 많은 분들이 정명훈
He feels
선수
like he's
활약하는
practicing, he's
모습을
ready to
기대하고
go for
있는데
today,
요즘
he's gonna show
행복하실 것
some good
같아요.
games
오늘
for the fans.
32강전 각오 들어보겠습니다.
네, 제가 16강을 간 적이 없는데 이번에 꼭 가도록 하겠습니다.
He says
네,
he's never made it to the
알겠습니다.
round
오늘
of 16,
기대하겠습니다.
but he wants to make it this time around.
네, 자 정명훈 선수의 상대 조금 전
Fantastic,
말씀해주셨듯이
fantastic interview right there.
이분 역시 많은 분들이
Really
기다리셨는데요.
groundbreaking stuff.
이
A lot of
선수
fun
fantasy
putting
had
his words in.
2014년의
Yeah, it wasn't
GSL을 설명할
rehearsed
수가 없죠.
That was just
straight
SK텔레콤
up.
T1 어윤수
Straight
선수
down the line.
만나보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네.
Sue, who's had a lot of runner-ups in GSL, 4
자 다시
last year.
돌아왔는데 소감 어떠세요?
아직
Now you're back in GSL. How do you feel?
제 무대가 아닌 것 같고 빨리 더 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
벌써 시작도 안 했는데
I'm
올라가실
not thinking
생각하고
about the round of
계시네요.
32. I'm thinking about a much deeper round.
그만해야죠.
네, 정명훈 선수가 먼저 올라갈 것 같다 말씀하셨는데
thinks
어떻게
that he should
어윤수
stop being a
선수의
runner-up
시나리오는
now.
어떠세요?
And he should become a champion.
사실 이번에 제주도를 갔다 왔는데
I think so too.
네,
Me
너무
too.
We're all
놀아가지고
waiting.
위험하긴 한데
네.
그래도 결국에는
I
올라갈 것
had a
같아요.
holiday. I went to Jeju Island and had a
자,
rest.
어윤수 선수
So I feel
2014년
great
어윤수
right now,
선수 GSL이
and I think I can
설명이 안
advance from this
됩니다.
group.
이번에도 혹시 목표를 결승으로 잡고 계신가요?
So obviously
결승은
your
너무
goal
많이 잃어가지고
is to become a finalist.
목표는 이제 우승을 잡고 싶어요.
우승이
So I
목표다.
made it into the finals a lot of
사실
times. So my goal now is to become a champion,
지난
not
시즌에
just to get to
원희삭
the
선수의
finals.
활약이 아주 좋았거든요.
네.
그리고 이번에도 16강에 진출을 했어요. 만나고 싶으세요?
사실 예전에는 만나기 싫다 이렇게 말해도
네.
사실 이제 이길 수 있다는 속으로는 그런 생각을 갖고 있었는데
네.
이제는 진짜 만나기 좀 껄끄러울 것 같아요.
그 정도로 상대가 많이 실력적으로 성장을 했나요?
네, 많이 성장했더라고요.
그렇군요. 자, 과연 원희삭 선수가 어윤수 선수와 어떤 또 만남을 기다리고 있을지 궁금해지는데
He's
자,
thinks putting
오랫동안
is in his
어윤수
peak,
선수를 기다리는
so he doesn't want to meet him in the
팬들에게
round of 16.
각오, 말씀해 주시기 바랍니다.
But he wants to
준비는
beat him
많이
deeper in the
못했지만,
tournament.
기본 실력으로 꼭 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 오늘
I didn't
기대하겠습니다.
practice much since I was in
네.
Jeju
자,
Island.
이렇게 오늘 죽음의
But I
조를
tried
꼽히고
to win
있는 C조
with my
선수분들의
fundamental
소감을
skills that I had.
들어봤는데요. 저는 잠시 후 첫
And that's all it
번째
took.
진출자와함께
He
돌아오겠습니다.
said a lot of words, but not much came out as we saw in the translation there. These things happen. And Korean can be a pretty broad language, it seems.
There's a lot of, not really getting straight to the point, like
No,
a lot of
he was
roundabout
dancing
wording.
around it a lot. He's like, well, I didn't actually practice that much. I was in Jeju.
He's like,
having-
actually, I haven't touched the game at all.
Yeah, I was getting a
but-
tan. I was drinking a lot of soju on the beach, but now I'm back here and I'm ready for
And
this group stage.
That is really scary. I mean, I told you before the cast started, I think that Fantasy and Sue will get out of the group. If everything goes correctly, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I'm a little
if
nervous.
he's out on the beach of Jeju Island just chilling out, drinking soju like you're saying, he's in the group of death,
Well,
everybody's calling it.
you know
It's
what?
kind of hard.
It's actually sometimes a good break is exactly what you need to just bring it to the next step. I know for sure, especially in my times, just having a week off does you wonders, way more than practicing that entire week would have done for you. It's kind of weird that it happens, and it's very hit and miss. Like sometimes it'll be good, sometimes it'll actually be quite detrimental.
Yeah. Well, guys, something I want to tell you as well. You can definitely go onto the GSL app, actually the GOMTV or GOMXP app, that's what it's called. You can find that there, and you can actually make predictions here for every group of the round of 32, and probably in the future as well. And if you get them correctly, you could probably win some good prizes. And you definitely want to go ahead and do that. I think prediction events are always a lot of fun.
Oh, they're fantastic. We love doing them over at Pro League as well.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun doing it. So, yeah, get in there. You got about 20 minutes as per usual when we give you the warning. So just try and get those prizes in. And, yeah.
We're getting a look at the players who have actually advanced the Code S so far. It's Gumiho, 1 Terran, and then 3 Protosses. Rain, Myungshik, and Parting.
Yeah. How about that, Valdez?
Moonlade's giving the camera the stare. He's like,
I wonder what's going on
I
here.
wonder what that could mean.
Well,
And,
let's wait until the end of today before we start pointing the finger at certain imbalances in this game so far.
Talking about today, we got Rogue up against Trust here first. A PVC, we've been having a lot of those recently, especially on Wednesday.
Yeah, we had a lot of them. And Fantasy versus Sue, one of the more interesting games today, I got to say. That's going to be a lot of fun to see in game number 2. And obviously the winners will be playing each other, the losers will be playing each other, and we'll soon get those 2 players out of this group stage.
Yeah. Trust saying he's practiced a lot for that matchup specifically up against Rogue.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the Koreans definitely, they really think that Rogue is a great player out here. They respect him so much. So
Oh, absolutely.
Trust is like, okay, I got to prepare my heart out for this guy. And hopefully, you know, maybe even the recent balance changes can come into effect here and maybe give him a bit of luck against Rogue because he's going to need it now.
Well, that's definitely one of the key factors here. You know, Swarmho is kind of out of play at the moment. No one's really figured out how to use them against Protoss currently. So that is definitely a nice window of opportunity for Trust. Though once we get into the matches, I get to talk a little bit more about where Trust is at currently, what we've seen from him in recent times. And obviously everyone who watched the Pro League playoffs last week will know just how damn good Rogue is right now.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically in the Pro League sort of style of matches, but maybe he can do some damage here in the best of series.
Yeah. The times where we see Rogue fall off the most is in best of 5s, actually. He loses the first game and he just gets too nervous. His mindset goes out the window and he just falls apart.
He does fall apart quite horrifically, actually. He's had some really fragile mindsets going into best of games in the past.
Yeah.
This is a best of 3, so you know it's not gonna really drain him as much, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can take a loss on the chin and keep going forward. So I remember last season he kind of did that in the same sort of situation. He started I believe it was Myungshik that actually knocked him down to the losers, and he looked like he was down and out. He was so upset, but he managed to kind of break through and get to the round of 8 after that.
I remember that. So hopefully he's got his mind straight today. He's going to be going up against this Protoss player, this Trust.
Now, Trust, he has not been having much success in recent times. Lost to Dark and Sulky in the Star League Season 2 qualifiers. Lost to Departure in the Kespikov qualifiers. And he did defeat MC 3-2 to get to this stage, which, you know, is something, but certainly isn't against the matchup he is playing right now.
Yeah. In fact, he is the only Protoss in the group, so even if that is his best matchup, he's not going to be playing it today.
It's kind of unfortunate. But, you know, going into this matchup, I do believe that currently, in the current meta of all things, PvZ is favored for Protoss. We have seen a lot of success from Protosses this week and last week as well.
And it may just be because the Zergs may just have not figured out how to deal with the Protoss style just yet, especially after the nerf. You know, one of the biggest tools they used to use has been nerfed down pretty hardcore.
It was one of the main tools for the late game in just about every matchup except ZvZ. Let's have a look at these maps. King Sejong, Iron Fortress, and then Overgrowth. Okay, we've seen kind of a lot of these maps come into play in this matchup.
Yeah. Usually the Protoss wanting to get rid of Expedition Lost and Merry-Go-Round, of course, you know, not the best Protoss map in the pool. And then Expedition Lost, we've been seeing a lot of backdoor proxy hatcheries.
Oh yeah, that's really been doing a lot of damage.
Killing big Protosses. Actually, Rogue even taking out Hero in the Pro League Finals.
That's the biggest one of all. So it is going to be Iron Fortress, that second map, and we've seen some really heavy Protoss aggression on that map, specifically from Parting, but you know, I think that's the only PvZs we've really seen on that map in recent times.
I can't think of anyone else. I think GSL is still the only tournament to use Iron Fortress.
I think so.
So, yeah, I mean, they even say GSL.
It is their map, I guess.
Fortress, so. Guys, we're going to jump into this match momentarily. The map for the first set here is going to be King Sejong Station. The map we used to see go pretty late in the PvC matchup, but things have changed in this matchup a huge amount, of course. We've talked a lot about the Swarmhost change already. I'm sure we'll do a bit more in the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see what Rogue's going to be bringing to this. What kind of style? Are we going to see more of that Viper style? We've been seeing Viper rushes with Roach Hydra. Or will he try for something a little different against Trust?
That is the question. I'm excited, as always, to get into the first game of the day, get into some StarCraft. I hope you're all ready to join us here. Of course, Nick and Dan out of town. Me and Moonblade filling in here. Let's get into it, guys. GSL Code S, the first match of the day, Rogue versus Trust. Down here in the bottom right, in the red, our Zerg player, he is
G-Nair Green Wings Rogue.
Definitely one of the favorites in this group, I gotta say.
for sure.
Especially after his performance yesterday, or earlier this week. And down up here in the top left, we have the Protoss player.
CJN2's Trust.
Whoa, I thought I had way less time than I did.
Yeah, they were delaying it for you actually,
Oh,
but then you rushed it
I
out.
was freaking out. Trust. He is definitely the underdog in this group. Trust got a lot to prove today. His recent results have been pretty miserable, to say the least.
It's unfortunate. I mean, he's on that CJN2's team. You guys all get to see the jersey when he goes on the interview. And yeah, I mean, they've been slowly raising up some of these players who haven't quite made it just yet. Welcome to the studio, guys. You don't have the headphones in.
Arr, get those headphones.
Of course, if you come down to either of the studios, the GSL studio or the SSL studio, you can get those English headsets and listen to the English broadcast if you want. These guys got them.
Absolutely. Look at these.
Welcome, guys.
Handsome people.
Thanks for coming down.
All right. We are going to see a pull first from Rogue, actually. You're going to be playing pretty defensively against someone like Trust, which is kind of interesting. But Trust, you know, he's going to go for that one-gate expand by the looks of things. Yeah. Playing the very straight-up game. We saw this a lot just the other play day, you know, just on Wednesday.
You know, normally I would say out of Rogue, I like this because it shows confidence. He's like, okay, I can be safe and just go for this pool first, and I don't really have to get ahead in economy or anything. But
yeah,
the way that Protosses are playing these days, like you said, they're pretty much all going for gateway first. And
all gateway first and pretty greedy sort of style as well.
Yes.
Like we're seeing right now, you know. Gateway after gateway into Nexus, no gas just yet. So Rogue going to go for that third base expansion and maybe go for a quick natural as well. To go for that quick 3 base before gas. Make a lot of sense. Not a bad choice against the build order we do see from Trust as well.
These guys actually fought in the round of 64 qualifiers for IEM World Championships. Rogue won that one 2-1. That's a pretty interesting result to pull out of.
Damn, that's quite a while ago as well.
They find results from everywhere, Moonblade.
Yeah, they go deep. All right, so we're going to see Rogue pick up a gas this early on. Wants to get that link speed on the map so he can apply pressure, shut down anything that might be coming out. And there's that third hatchery, as I expected. Normally, you'd always expect the third hatchery to go down, especially if you're going to take the, you know, your first expansion at that bottom left sort of third base. Because otherwise, the creep thread's going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard to defend. You want 3 bases.
No.
You always want to be a base up on Protoss as well.
For sure. And of course, he got that overloaded across the map. He knows that this greedy Protoss economy build is coming out with the early Nexus. So he's like, oh, I'll be safe to do this. I should be totally fine. Next step is to, of course, identify exactly what kind of build the Protoss is going for. Something we've been seeing a lot these days. We even saw it on Wednesday a lot in the PVZs, was just straight 3-gate into, you know, Forge, Expand, or maybe even a Twilight for earlier Blink if they want to go more aggressive. Or even a Stargate sometimes.
Yeah, you can really hash out the game exactly how it's going to go down at this point because it has just been such the norm in recent times. You know, yeah, 3-gate expand with that +1 attack and into just mass Blink Stalker Sentry. And it really comes down to the Zerg and how good their positioning is, how early they can read it's coming, and if they can get, you know, just enough units out in time to really deal with it.
Oh, look at this. Rogue's going to take an interesting turn here. He's going to go for a huge swell of Lings with speed.
Oh, I like this a lot. And
staying at 19 drones.
Look how open this natural is from Trust as well. He's going to actually throw down a couple of gateways now. He's going to get them up pretty soon, though, because Lings are going to be across the map before he knows it. Here comes a second gateway as well. He's going to have a nice block there, a nice SimCity. But, you know, there's that pylon down to the bottom right of that base. That can just get picked off with a decent amount of Lings. Will go down very quickly.
Now, Rogue has committed a huge amount of larvae to this. He has not made any more drones at all. He's going for a gigantic attack.
Wow.
He's hoping to catch Trust off guard. Trust has no idea right now.
That's so many Lings. 42 on the map so far, but you know what? An Oracle is about to pop, and this is going to be able to defend so well against this many Lings. Oracles do so much work. And I'm sure we're going to see it in the fight in just a moment's time, though it was proxied on the right side of the map, so it's going to take some time before it gets there.
That one gateway getting pretty low there, but Trust already setting up a nice wall here as well. But again, this is a ton of Lings, but the Oracle is here in time, killing a ton of these Lings down.
Yeah, it's doing so much.
Oh, but the Lings get through.
This
Pylon
is
not
huge.
able to get up.
He has to get up that ramp. Oh, but the warp in from the Zealot is there now. So he might have to actually just settle for the natural, which should be good enough, actually. If he gets rid of this natural, he can deal with it in time.
He's just going for the Zealot. I'm not sure if that's the right choice. He doesn't even get it as the Sentry pops out.
Yeah, now the Oracle is out of energy, so it cannot be killing any more Lings, though it did kill 17. It's going to be a bit useless for a while longer, but the second Oracle coming in now.
And Rogue even trying to go up the ramp once again. I think he's just got to commit to killing this Nexus. Looks like he's going to get it anyway.
Very easily, actually.
That's pretty huge. He's got 3 hat-tricks behind this. Trust is totally back in his base. He's even going to go for the Zealot once again. He's trying to get behind it even.
He's trying. He's almost got it as well. One Zealot down, one other red Zealot to go. Still a lot of Lings, you know.
He's only making Lings. He's not transitioning out of this at all. Finally, one drone gets on the production tab.
Yeah, I think that was finally a good choice. Considering these Oracles, they were so cost efficient. The other one killed 14 Lings. Between them, they did a lot of damage, but if they start harassing, this could get pretty ugly for Rogue.
Yeah, and we see those 2 blue dots coming across the map now. Looks like they're going for the main. There's not a Spore Crawler.
Oh, this
Rogue
could
messed
turn
that
around.
up so much. He needed a Spore Crawler, though he does kill that gateway. And now these 2 sentries are totally left alone. But at the same time, his main base, not even a queen right now.
Yeah, not good at all. And luckily for the drones, there isn't much energy on these Oracles. So most of them will survive. But I think from this point, we're going to see Trust stabilize. Well, after he loses probably a few more pylons in the natural.
Yeah.
Not the worst situation in the world. I mean, the worker count is actually 13 in favor of Trust right now. Does have those Oracles on the map as well, which are going to shut down any more Ling aggression or do more drone damage if he finds them.
We now see Rogue trying to find that Stargate. There's going to be 3 Oracles out on the map.
Oh, yeah. That is really going to keep him in a lead here. And I think Berg is actually in a pretty horrible position right now.
Look at this. So many more drones going down. He's just microing these Oracles away. He's got to get that one away. He finally does.
Wow, this is actually so much damage.
Yeah, really nice micro actually out of Trust. Just barely keeping these guys alive.
10 drones go down. Guess what? He has 19 drones to the 32 probes of Trust. Finally, that Stargate got cleaned up from the Lings, but to what end? He's already got the Oracles out.
He's got those 3 Oracles. He kept them alive, and now he's going to rebuild this Nexus. The one thing that Rogue does have going for him is he's got a lot of hatcheries. You know, he's got a lot of larvae to work with. He's got 3 mining bases possibly, but he's got to drone up a bit here.
Yeah, he really does.
I feel like he made a big mistake by not preparing a bunch of Spore Crawlers back at home. He knew the Oracles were on the map. I think he was just focusing on the attack.
Yeah, I think he saw blood in the water and he's like, well, I can kill him right now. Especially if those Oracles leave my Lings alone and go for the drones. But it never happened that way. You know, he got photon overcharge up in time. He made the SimCity good enough to buy enough time for that. And then the Oracles just did so much drone damage.
Yep. And look at this. He's got 3 gateways back at home. He's making 2 more. And he's got a large number of sentries and zealots pushing across the map. And what does Rogue have? He's lost all of his Zerglings. He's trying to make queens right now, but these 3 Oracles are getting so much more damage done even.
They are all so low. 4 HP, 0 HP, and 10 HP. Damn, they're so low, but they have done so much work. Each
Scary
one,
part is this push, though.
Yeah, 21 kills on one, 23 on the other. I'm not entirely sure what the third one had, but probably a lot as well. And there's nothing here from Rogue to defend against this. The only one redeeming thing is there's no +1 on these Zealots. Otherwise, it'd just be an unwinnable situation.
That would be essentially game. Well, looks like Trust is going to push now. We got 4 queens here, trying to focus down some units. But again, he's even got a time warp for this. All the Lings are not attacking at the same time. And all of these queens get force fielded out here. They're all going to go down. And
Ruthless.
oh boy.
Absolutely ruthless there. Every queen going down. Only Lings are going to be there to defend now. And if he gets a force field on the ramp, there's going to be no chance of him defending.
This is just not enough. All he has to do is like make zealots. He's making a bunch of stalkers. It doesn't really matter. GG. Trust is going to take the first game against Rogue.
Now let's have a look at exactly what Rogue is looking at right now. Because he could be pretty demoralized already, losing to someone he would truly expect to dominate going into this. And there's a sad Rogue. Not too sad yet.
There are many stages of the sad Rogue, you know?
Yeah,
this is kind of just like stage 1. He's like a little bit sad. He always looks kind of sad.
Yeah,
but
he goes
there are
down to
some
stage
stages.
5.
There are some big stages of sad Rogue.
When he's reached stage 5, you know he's just never going to win a game.
Yeah.
for the rest of the night, but
he's like bent over, head in his hands, basically crying at some points, looking like Marine King even.
yeah. Let's see if he can redeem it on the next map, Iron Fortress. It's going to be a pretty interesting one at that.
Yeah. You really got to hand it to Trust, though, in that game. He held on by the skin of his teeth, literally. You know, his Oracle Micro wasn't the best in the world, but it was, like, good enough to do a ton of damage. He kept them all alive with a very low amount of health. And, you know, once again, I do have to point out the mistake of Rogue, not making those spore crawlers. Like you said, seeing blood in the water, he just wanted to kill Trust in that moment in time. But like I said, Trust just barely holding on.
Yeah.
Able to take the win.
Yeah, very well played by Trust. Fantastic Oracle Micro as well. That was really something that put him so far ahead. Getting those 10 drones in the natural, just dancing them out of the range of the spores. Fantastic play.
We're going to go into game number 2 here. Rogue. Looking okay. He's not even that sad, actually. I wouldn't even say he's reached stage 1 yet. But he's got to win 2 more here against a Protoss player. And seeing that kind of build out of Rogue actually just kind of tells me that he's not feeling too confident. You know what I mean? Going for that kind of aggressive style super early on in the game. On a map like King Sage on Station.
Yeah, it's either not that confident or way too confident. Like, he's like, well, this guy is going to be an easy win for me, so I'm going to cheese him out. It's going to be easy peasy.
And maybe that's why he doesn't look too sad. Maybe he's like, oh, well, I tried it. I can take 2 wins against this guy anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
That might just be it.
We're going to go into Iron Fortress, guys. It is the second map of this best of 3. Let's get into it right now. The GSL Code S, Trust up 1 game against Rogue, going into game number 2. Down here in the bottom right, in the red, our Zerg player, he is
Jin Air Green Wings Rogue.
And up here in the top left of Iron Fortress,
CJN2's Trust.
the underdog surprisingly winning last game. Holding on from that Ling all-in. Making it happen. Looking fantastic. Let's see what he's going to do on this map, though. A much bigger map. Much harder map to hold a third base on, especially for Protoss. Very ugly.
Yeah. It's hard for the Protoss, but it's also a bit hard for the Zerg, you know? At least here at cross spawns, I feel like maybe the Protoss will have a little bit easier of a time. But as we saw at a parting, just his aggression against Zergs who try to go for that third base, it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh. A couple in the audience looking great.
That girl behind them was hiding too. She's like, no, I'm going to hide behind this guy too.
And it is going to be the same exact build from Trust. He is going to be going for that gateway expand by the looks of things. And for Rogue, double hatch before pool. Oh, more people in the audience. Busted. You're here to watch StarCraft.
Where was that probe going? Was he actually looking for like a proxy hatch, possibly?
I'm not sure. That would be kind of an interesting thing. It doesn't really need to be a proxy hatch in this map, but I guess maybe.
Oh, you know what he was probably searching for was the Overlord.
Oh.
Coming from the bottom.
Yeah, that would definitely be it.
I think that's definitely got to be it.
Interesting. Thought he might want to go down a little bit further if he wanted to try catch that Overlord. He's going to scout it out just the same. Going to be seeing that hatch first, and it's not going to be a second hatch from Rogue. Just going to go straight into that pool. So not too greedy. And we're going to see a fake sort of a pressure from Trust, pretending that it will be a cannon rush. It's a big lie there. But Rogue has to react just the same, because if it is actually a cannon rush, he could just die. Cancelled, go home. Should probably just leave him here in mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hatch done.
Cybercore getting up now. Rogue just deciding to stay on 3 hats for now. Let's see what kind of style he plays here. I don't think he can stay on this for too long. You see sometimes Zergs liking to stay on 2 base against Terran, you know, get their tech up pretty fast, but against Protoss you don't see it too often unless they're going for like a big all-in off of 2 base. Some kind of roachling pressure or something.
Yeah. He's probably just going to be spending all his minerals he can on the drones that come out for Larvae, and eventually take his third. Possibly about now. He's got Lings clearing out that probe. Maybe go for a bit of a different style on this map. You never know. He could be actually he's going into a different style. He's going to be adding creep queens, 2 creep queens. So we're going to see around like a 5-minute double gas if it's kind of the similar build that I'm thinking of, and get a bit of a delayed Ling speed, maybe even Ling upgrades. And these queens will help out, obviously, dealing with oracles early on and get that creep spread out on such a big map. Very important.
Yeah. Who was it, the Zerg, that actually went for the Ling upgrades? Was that Dark?
I believe it was.
On Wednesday?
I believe it was.
On King Sejong Station.
That's it,
right?
and he did really well against potting, actually, going for that very heavy Stalker Sentry style. And Dark's, macro behind it, which is so good. Just never had this unending stream of Lings coming out of the map. And look at that, hiding one of his queens. Maybe on purpose, maybe simply to spread creep from the main to the natural. Either way, it's a nice little, hiding a bit of information that could be pretty damn valuable. If Trust knows exactly the kind of build that he's up against, maybe he changes it up, maybe he plays a little bit more greedy. And because it is going to be 2-base versus 2-base to start things off here.
We see Twilight Council coming out of Trust here. This is actually the build that Parting did on this map against Ragnarok in game number 2, where he just like smashed him with a pretty early blink all-in off a 2-base.
Yeah.
Let's see if Trust decides to go for the same. Not a bad idea on this map.
No blink being researched. It's going to be DT opening, actually.
Whoa.
And I don't know about this because we already have Lair on the way. It's going to be long done by the time the DT Shrine is finished.
Yeah, kind of interesting. There's a probe hanging around. He's scouting that there's no 3rd base yet.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Overlord speed be upgraded as well. Not a bad idea on this kind of map, in these kind of positions, especially when both players are going for 2-base for quite some time. Much more abnormally long than usual on other maps. Yeah, there's that Forge finishing up as well, so he's going to get those +1 upgrades on the way. This could very easily transition into the standard sort of Blink Stalker Sentry style. So you already have that Twilight. You can have a Forge, so you're going to get your upgrades very quickly. And obviously, Mass Blink Stalker likes to hit when it has +2. Just finished up.
Yeah. I really do like this style in game 2 where Trust is up a game. He just kind of mixes it up. This is not your standard PvZ play. He's like, let me just throw this kind of technical build in and see if I can take an easy win against Rogue, get a quick 2-0. You know what I mean? He's also going to buy himself a lot of time to get this 3rd base up.
Yeah, well, look at this. 2 DTs warping in. Let's have a look. Do we see any detection on the map? I see only one in the main base with that Spore Crawler. So this could do a little bit of damage in the natural if he chooses to send those 2 DTs to the natural. But look at this, already scouted out.
Overseer warping in right now. Morphin, rather.
He's going to have to start targeting down the drones. There we go. He's going to try for the main with 1. Not going to... Oh, is going to get there. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Bit of a blunder. Luckily for him, though, there is a Spore Crawler on the main base.
Yeah. Going to walk away for now. The fact that there's an Overseer, though, I would have rather him just sacrifice and try to get as many drones as possible, because that guy's going to go down.
Yeah, he's completely useless. Should have just ignored the Queen, go for the drone kills.
Exactly.
And look at this very powerful follow-up from Rogue. He went straight into very quick speed roaches with +1, nearly finished as well. A great sort of counterattack against what we see from Trust. Obviously when Trust goes for a DT rush like this, he doesn't have much else to deal with roaches. Blink's going to be very late. There's going to be no Immortals on the map, and currently no detection either, except for a couple of cannons.
Yeah.
And Burrow has been finished as well. So we can Burrow, outside of the cannon range. Nullify force fields for the most part.
Let's see where he goes with this. All the sentries are actually out of position. He's going to try to push through here. The pylon is going to go down. He's trying to go into the main base. 2 of them to get in, but a nice force field there to stop further damage. But already the Roach is in the main base, some of the natural, and this is going to be a hard cleanup here for Trust.
Oh, it's going to be very ugly. Should start targeting down probes, maybe on that natural.
Yep, and there's the burrow.
Very nice.
Robotics only coming in now.
So late. And Tunneling Claws, is past halfway at this point. When that finishes, it's going to get even harder to deal with these roaches. Healing's going to be so much more efficient, and you can obviously escape a lot easier with them.
Look at that, just targeting down some sentries. Really nice trades here out of Rogue. It looks like he may want to go for a follow-up with +2 and Hydras after killing a bunch of those sentries, forcing out some more force fields.
Yeah, he's in a pretty commanding position. And as we can see from Trust as well, It kind of looked like he wanted to go for that Blink Stalker roll in because he has like essentially a fully saturated third base with no gases on it. So it kind of gave me the impression that he wanted to maybe throw down a few more gateways and just mass Stalker behind this. But with this Roach aggression, he never got the chance. 55 probes to 68 drones right now.
Yeah. Look at the huge amount of cannons that Rogue, or rather Trust, is putting up. He's got like 3 at the natural. There's 3 at the third base. Looks like there's none in the main, but
it's a lot harder to get that main base, so yeah. I guess he can kind of skimp out on them for now. Maybe we'll see Nidus at some point. That would be fantastic. But we are actually seeing a very quick hive, so Neta going to be going into Vipers from here. Going to go for a pretty heavy Roach Hydra attack with the use of Vipers and Blinding Cloud. Try and shut this down, close this game out.
It's a nice little thing about that map. I actually didn't know that that cooling tower was there. It's going to cut off that little backdoor path to the Rogue's third base.
Yeah.
Give him some extra safety.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. It's actually a pretty cool map when you look at it. It's just something we just don't see that often because I think the third bases are just a little too far apart.
We see so much aggression, it's like, well, we don't really get to see the later stages of this map.
Yeah, look at this nice creep spread, you know, nearing the center of the map. Going to give him a lot of vision, a lot of opportunity to engage before any chokes come into play.
Nice timing on the Templar Archives. He knows what the transition is for Rogue, and he's like, okay, I can get that about this timing, have my high Templar up for some nice feedbacks on the Vipers.
Yeah, when you see that much sort of comes, that many Roach Hydra, like, you know for sure it's going to be Vipers to follow this up. Very, very safe transition. Let's see if he's going to go into Storm from this, or is he simply going to stay on just high Templar for feedback and maybe some Archons. I think Storm would be the great choice here. You know, Immortal Storm, a kind of a classic composition, does so fantastic. Does so damn well against Roach Hydra.
Yeah, well, he's got it. He's got enough minerals and gas to go for Storm, but he just warps in the High Templar first. Looks like it might just be High Templar for now. Maybe get it a little bit later. There's the Storm.
There's the Storm. All right. He obviously wants High Templar out so he can feedback if the time comes, if he has to defend against this before Storm is finished. But once that Storm is finished, it's going to be a pretty deadly death ball. And we're going to have to see... It looks like the next on the cards for Rogue is going to be that Broodlord tech. Spire just about to finish. And that's a pretty solid transition against this army.
Yeah, especially with the amount of mortals that are coming out here. Even the High Templar. We already got 8 Spine Crawlers coming in here for Rogue, so I think it's definitely going to be those Broodlords. Usually see this out of a lot of Zergs wanting to buy time for this composition to come out.
Yeah, it is a bit slower than I would expect, actually. He did delay in it for quite some time, just kind of going straight into Vipers and upgrades rather than going straight for a Spire or Great Aspire. I think rushing it out would be the best way to kind of deal with this, but still, I guess he still wants to apply pressure on the map and maybe try and find a way in and do some more damage.
Look at
Vipers
this.
will help.
Look at this backdoor attack out of Rogue trying to come up towards the third base of the Protoss. The Protoss army is actually moving out on the map. It's in the middle of the map right now.
Oh yeah, this is actually fantastic. He could maybe even go for the Nexus if he wants to, but a big warp in of Stalkers might change his mind.
The army's coming back, trying to deal with this left side army of the Zerg and also put down that fourth base. That Rogue just going to back off.
Going to back off for now. Looks like Trust is going to look for that left side army of Rogues, a little contingent. Shut that down so he can get that fourth base up nice and safe. Once again, he's going to try for it. Man, that is so many High Templar already with all of them have Storm as well. Some of them actually have 2 Storms. No chance of engaging that whatsoever.
It's going to take a while before Rogue can actually engage that. He's going to need Broodlords.
He can actually deal with this cooling tower if he wants to.
He's going to target down the Nexus. It's getting pretty low. While Trust tries to deal with this left side army, he really is dealing with that, actually. A lot of Storms going down, but it looks like he may lose that Nexus, and there it goes.
Alright, he loses the Nexus, but at the same time,
oh my God,
he lost so many Roach Hydra in that mid-left sort of engagement. 10 Broodlords on the way will make up for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And look at that Spine Crawler forest right there. That's beautiful. Yeah. 12 spines.
All the Broods morphing over it. Very, very safe. He's bought himself a lot of time with these backdoor attacks. That's the main thing here. These Broodlords are going to be out in time for whenever the Protoss decides to push.
Yeah, there is no way Trust is finding his way into this Zerg base with this kind of composition. He's going to need, I think, Tempest at this point. Maybe some Void Rays. There isn't that much anti-air.
I don't think he even has some Stargates.
I don't think so. I think this is essentially all in for Trust. He's going to run into 10 Broods. Maybe think twice about it.
Oh, and the Blinding Clouds come down. He's going to need to recall. And
pretty heavy losses. Let's see the transition.
Yeah, what is Trust gonna do from here?
I think you need Stargates. I think it must be. He's gonna make a Colossus instead. Fair enough. I see what you did there.
Awkward moment for Trust where he's like, well, do I commit to a huge tech switch here, or do I just try to kill him, get a big blink underneath all the Broodlords, I guess?
I think because he simply doesn't have the production there as it is, like it's going to take too long to go into these Stargates. He's going to rely on maybe some heavy storms, good positioning, and some good blinks underneath these Broodlords to take them down.
You know,
we have seen that before. We have seen that before.
And the thing I was going to say on this map, there's like so much open space actually for big blinks as well. So maybe if you could just outmaneuver the Zerg, I guess it is possible.
So much open space as well for, you know, counterattacks because these Broodlords are so slow. It's such an immobile army that you can actually kind of maneuver around it, go for bases, and kind of play it the same way you would play against Swarm Hosts, where, you know, there is this really slow sort of army on the map. And you can kind of avoid the Locust as well. Go for counterattacks, use, you know, really effective Warp Prism warp-ins.
Yeah.
And try and take down the Zerg from the inside out.
I mean, Rogue does have a decent Spinecrawler Forest, as you said, but I feel like the Protoss army is big enough to deal with that if he does want to go for a counterattack.
Oh yeah, especially with 3 Immortals, 4 Immortals, he can just blow them up like no problem.
All those Blink Stalkers, easy peasy. But look at this, another counterattack coming out of here for Rogue. He's going to take down this Nexus once again. And he's just going to back out.
Oh wow.
Emergency Observer, he's not even with the army. The Rogue just burrow.
Yeah,
now on the move.
Actually do even more damage with this if he goes into the main base. There isn't actually much to defend. He's going to have to pull the army from the 3rd base.
Ugh.
Not even that. He's going to leave these Burrowed Roaches just right underneath the army. Oh, look at that. Even Trust blocking it off with a pylon just to stop them getting in. He knows they're there. He just doesn't have the detection for him.
We got a second Spire here on the way for Rogue. No doubt for upgrades. Some Roaches coming back here trying to focus down the 4th Nexus once again. It's going to be close, but I don't think they're going to be able to get it.
Yeah.
Too much Protoss.
Just too much Protoss, but, you know, it did a pretty healthy amount of damage to the Nexus, so, you know, maybe later on we could see another run by.
There we finally see the tech switch out of Rogue.
3 Stargates on the way.
Or rather, Trust.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see Rogue go for, you know, an attack pretty damn soon, though. He's going to have about 17 Broodlords. Oh, man. Not even Blink Stalkers blinking underneath them will be enough at this point.
No, it's going to be too many Broodlings.
Especially with Blinding Cloud on the map as well. You know, it's such an unstoppable army for a ground force to deal with.
Yeah. And just a sprinkle of Hydras in the back. Get the tanking from the Broodlings as well. Here's a nice little counterattack out of Trust. You may be able to take down this hatchery.
Yeah, very convincingly.
Nicely done. Now you can just blink away. Nice little position over there. Now he's going to come over here to this hatchery. Going to try to knock down Rogue to 3 hatcheries of his own.
Yeah, well, this is what you got to do against a big immobile army. As I was saying before, Broodlords are just so slow on such a big map. If you know where the army is, just run around it. I'm surprised we don't see more Warp Prisms on the map, actually, because, you know, the natural main base are completely open for counterattacks of that kind.
Yeah. Trust just has to back out and take out this hatchery, too. It looks like Rogue has reached his critical mass here. He's going to try to go for a big attack while Trust is trying to go for these counterattacks. He's like, okay, F that, I'm going to go kill you.
Not a bad idea in this kind of situation. And he definitely has the army for it. There isn't really a counter on the map. 3 Void Rays now on the way.
That's not going to be enough.
If he can get like 6 out, he will actually have enough Void Rays to deal with the anti-air with these Broodlords. Oh, look at this block.
Oh my god.
Oh, the traitorous Archon.
Oh god.
It's like, well, you all have to die with me.
The killing fields here. Bunch of Broodlords pushing forward, and there's just
Storm's
nothing to deal with
actually
this.
doing a lot of work. Look at those Broodlords. They're all actually pretty softened up from this.
Yeah.
Mass Storms, but that was all the Templar as well, mind you.
And it looks like all the counterattacking of Trust has been cleaned up. Rogue now just remaking those hatcheries. He's right on the front doorstep. The production of Trust now.
It's under fire. He's found these Void Rays before they reach the sort of a mass where the Corruptors cannot deal with them.
Yeah.
So it's not going to commit just the same.
Now all he's got to do is pump out some Corruptors. But GG, we're going to go to game number 3 here between Rogue and Trust. Rogue definitely looking a lot more solid in that game compared to game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Much more, maybe he should stick to the macro games, maybe shy away from these mass Ling all-ins. Looks very good. Third map going to be that Overgrowth as well. So going to have another straight-up map. Nice possible macro game if Rogue wants it.
If Rogue wants it, or even Trust wants it.
Trust maybe want to just go for an all-in from this point. He's like, well, he is clearly better than me when it comes to the macro games, especially on bigger maps like that.
You know, I said that I liked what Trust was doing on that map with the DTs, just trying to mix it up. But again, may have just been a little bit too technical. I feel like if we see Parting in that situation, he probably would have just gone for an all-in off the 2-base and just try to kill the Zerg, like he did to Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And maybe that would have been better out of Trust, try to just end it there instead of trying to go long against Rogue and cross positions. It's not generally something you want to do against this good of a macro Zerg.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to try for that, but if you do, you want to have the production in place so you can deal with, you know, that Broodlord switch or that Ultralisk switch.
Yeah.
And Tempers are going to help out so much against both of them. Not like they used to, but they're still pretty damn effective.
Yeah. Protoss receiving a nerf of their own, albeit not as severe as the one to Zergs, many will say. Got a pretty big crowd here. It's a Friday in Seoul.
Yeah, fantastic.
A lot of people choosing to get out of that really nice sunny weather and come inside, enjoy the AC, and enjoy some StarCraft here.
Absolutely, we got some great games lined up today. Here we go, third map, going to be Overgrowth, as I said before. It's going to be a pretty close one. I think Trust can take it out if he plays it right. Big upset though.
Yeah, it would be a big upset here. I would not predict Trust to get into the winner's match over Rogue. Rogue just playing so well recently. And looking to continue that streak here in the GSL Code S. Rogue definitely, I feel like, the biggest challenger to Sue and Fantasy to get out of this group. But let's see if Trust can mix it up. This is his big chance. The game has been loaded up, guys. We're going to jump into this one right away. It's going to be game 3 between Rogue and Trust in the GSL Code S. Up here in the top right, in the red, our Zerg player, he is
Jin Air Green Wings Rogue.
Played absolutely fantastically in the Pro League playoffs recently, almost getting an all kill. Down here in the bottom left, we do have the upcoming Protoss.
CJN2's Trust.
Let's
Dropped in
see.
that last game.
Yeah, dropped that last game. We'll see if he decides to mix it up here in game number 3.
Looks like it's going to be more of the same. We're going to see that simple gateway expand that we've been seeing from every Protoss these days against Zerg.
It's just such a strong build. It's pretty safe.
Ooh, and we are going to see a very early drone scout from Rogue. Let's see if he's going to use this for good or for evil, go for that proxy, or go for the greed. I guess it's actually both evil, but
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
In general, if it is just a scout, I feel like it is for good, because usually it's like, okay, I just want to play safe.
Yeah,
You know? Let me just make sure I'm not going to get killed here and not just be greedy without scouting.
Yeah, well, I guess he's not going to proxy simply because it is a gateway first. You're going to get nothing done with the hatchery first and the natural with the zealots out before it's even half finished. And then we go with that hatchery first in the natural of Rogues. Maybe even going to go for 2 because he does know exactly what's going on in Trust Base. The exact same tech that it has been every other game. Maybe Rogue might be worried that Trust will try and deny that third base, so he will maybe just drop down that spawning pool. Yep.
That's what he did in the last game.
Okay. And we're going to see Rogue, try and deny the Nexus for as long as he can as well. See how good he is at it. It's a pretty impressive play on Wednesday. Who was it? I think it might have been Dark that kept denying him.
Yeah. Dark was pretty good at denying, but also Parting is like amazing at just getting it down in the face of a drone.
Oh, yeah. Well, that went up to like 600 minerals, so that was a pretty efficient sort of block. Rogue doing it very well.
now Trust's gonna try to do some of the same. And I think he should be able to. Only one drone over there at the third base. It's gonna take a long time to get that guy out of the way.
All right, so 3 hatch before gas. We're going to be playing it much more greedier this time. Can't believe he hasn't dealt with that probe just yet.
Oh.
There we go.
3 hatch eventually.
3 hatch eventually. Had to commit to those queens before anything else. And those lings.
Probe wants to come back.
Oh
hey
my
guys, welcome to
God.
the studio. Glad you came down to Korea. Finally, Rogue gets that hatch up. So it looks like we will transition into a pretty normal game here, guys. Much of the same, the standard.
Yeah, no risks going to be on this map. Looks like both players just want to play it straight up, you know. Have a macro game. No crazy all-ins. Maybe it's exactly what Trust needed at this point. You can still see something. Ooh, Lings might find a probe here. Now, question is, does Trust want to go for, you know, a Stargate or any of that sort of shenanigans? Oh! Ooh, damn. Oh! Damn.
Good to Probe. Nicely done. And Zergling gets a full scout of the base, just to make sure.
All right, 1 extra gateway so far. Second gate going down. Let's see if the Forge comes up after this. Then we'll have a fair idea of exactly what Trust wants to do.
Zergling now. Rogue is usually pretty good about this, by the way, of just like scouting the entire map, just to make sure he's not getting proxied.
It's kind of important as well, you know, especially in this kind of map where, you know, a pylon on the left side of the map near your third base can just kill you. You know, you get a good warp-in point, and there's not much creep out that way. It's a lot harder to defend around this time. And look at this. We already see the probe coming in, putting down a pylon. Could very well see a very quick Blink Stalker roll in.
Yeah, this is just such an easy transition into Blink if you want to go for it. You just add 3 extra gates, or even 4. You know, go for a 6-7 gate Blink all in on 2 base. Seen it multiple times. Parting loves to do it.
Does love to do it. And it's going to be DT once again, actually. Oh, wow. He's going to be putting that in the natural, surprisingly.
You know, I guess this will just not be expected. Rogue's going to be like, oh, you wouldn't do that 2 times in a row.
Yeah, I see that. Actually,
oh, but he sees it. He gets in. Gets a total scout here. No block in the natural.
Oh, my goodness.
That is a
actually
huge
happened.
mistake.
Yeah, that is the biggest blunder you could ever make, especially when you're going for such a delicate tech like the DT tech. It can get so hard countered if you're not paying attention or if it gets scouted out early enough. And he might even lose a sentry from it, nearly.
Bunch of Lings are out on the map, but speed is not done just yet.
Yeah, he's going to have to get a recall out eventually. Unless these Stalkers find a way out. Oh, they find a way out.
So slippery are these Stalkers.
And trading pretty damn well.
Yeah. This is something you can do with Stalkers. They have pretty much the same speed. Oh, he gets 1. Oh, and he's going to get another one. Trust not paying attention. Maybe just getting a little bit nervous now. In Game 3 up against Rogue.
Still getting rid of a lot of Lings. And the DT Shrine is still building, actually. I wonder if he's going to cancel at the last second, you know, simply transition, or he's actually going to use it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering as well, because if it gets scouted, it's just so easy to shut down.
He's actually going to use it. Wow.
I guess he's going to try to sneak into the main, but there's already a Spore Crawler here, so...
Yeah, I didn't see this happening. Maybe he wants to kill the Lings here.
This is an easy surround. I mean, DTs, yeah, they can go pretty straight up with a small amount of Lings, but...
It's not going to be enough. Not with the Queen here as well.
Just going to get 2 of those DTs. Just trading Lings for this. This is so efficient for Rogue.
Oh, yeah. He's in a great place right now. His third base is also essentially fully saturated. He's just going to go straight into Roach Tech, Roach Hydra Tech from here. Maybe go for a Roach Hydra timing, or actually going to add that Infestation Pit and just go straight to Vipers.
Yeah, pretty early. Just wants to get up there as fast as possible. I guess that's one thing that DT can do a little bit later on. If it doesn't get damaged, it can hold those watchtowers pretty easily. It's hard to get rid of those guys without an Overseer.
Yeah, you know, the DT tech can be pretty useful later on as well. If, you know, the Blink Stalkers can snipe the Overseer, DTs will push it back indefinitely until more detection comes onto the map with this army. So there's always, you know, great sort of ways to make it viable.
Yeah, DTs are also good for defending. We saw a lot of counter-attacking from Rogue. Just park a DT or even warp in some DTs for defense.
Yeah, well, Zealot
He'll be pretty
DT
safe.
is kind of the late game warp in as well, and it just kills buildings so quickly.
Oh, yeah. Large amount of links coming in here for Rogue. You know, we already saw him put down the Road-Sworn and the Hydra Den. It looks like he is going into Hive.
It's going to be a third done. So still a while away before Vipers can get on the map. And Trust going to go simply in that Blinkstalker. +1 nearly finished. Probably going to add a second upgrade there in just a moment's time. Maybe go for a big attack. Though he is kind of running out of time. There's a very small window at this point because that Hive is nearly finished. Things get just so much harder when Vipers are on the map for Blinkstalkers. Blinding Cloud just so efficient.
Yeah. What are the upgrades like for Trust? Does he only have that +1?
Yeah, he only just got +1. And he'll be going for +2 now.
Okay, there we go. Yeah,
Four
I feel
more
like,
gates.
like you said, Rogue is just way, way far ahead of the Protoss right now in terms of tech and just control of the game.
Yeah, he's in terms of tech and economy up until this point, he was miles ahead. And we are going to see 2 Vipers come out while that 4th goes down at the gold.
Yeah.
And by the time we do see Trust move across the map, Rogue's going to have more than enough to deal with this army.
Yeah. This is usually what happens, especially for if the Protoss goes for Dark Shrine tech and he just doesn't really get any damage done. It's like, well, you pigeonholed yourself into this kind of tech. There's a pretty decent transition, but it comes much later compared to as if you had gone straight for Blink.
Well, here we go. He's going to move up now. Hydras and Roaches are in position. Got to be careful of that many force fields, though. It's going to get pretty ugly. Luckily, he does have the top of the ramp at least. And Lynx get through. For the most part.
Slipping by.
It's about 11 sentries right there. There's still a lot of force fields left over. He can actually go behind the mineral patch and assault it that way. It's essentially impossible for the Zerg to deal with it.
Yeah, unless they want to put their weak and low amount of Hydras over at the ledge there just to get them sniped out.
There'd just be never a good concave there. That's because the minerals are in the way.
So we're going to be forced to stop mining at the gold base for a little bit. But now Trust, feeling the pressure, he's going to back off now. Maybe wait for a couple extra warp-ins, some more Immortals to add into the mix. But Rogue, he wants to cut this off. He wants to go for the fight right now.
He's going to try for it. Oh, very efficient. Abduct there on the Mothership Core. No float or overcharge for any of these bases.
Finally, we see some High Templars add in the mix. I don't know where this Warp Prism's going.
To its death.
Yeah. Just saying hello, you know. Wanted to join the Zerg side, but the Zerg said no.
And this is a perfect sort of position to throw down a nice Blinding Cloud. Maybe even trade for the Nexus if he gets a good way in.
He's trying to make a concave here, getting a lot of the Zergs just down to the south.
And he's looking for the feedback.
Uh-oh, move command, it looked like there.
Oh, wow.
And the big Blinding Cloud on a lot of those sentries on the left side. And a nice Blinding Cloud there on the Stalkers on the bottom.
Yeah,
this just may be too much Protoss, or rather Zerg.
Yeah, he might be able to trade it out by the end of things because those Immortals are still doing a lot of work at the back. And the army's kind of dwindling for Rogue, but he's going to get a very good trade nonetheless.
Yeah. He's killed so much of the Protoss. All the sentries have gone down. There's literally not one single sentry. So a follow-up attack here from Rogue is just going to be devastating.
It's going to do so much work. And he can remax so easily. He does have that gold base now. So his economy is booming at this point. Creep spread could be a little bit better for Rogue there, you know, barely any. Kind of connecting the bases together, but not beyond that.
Yeah. We just see Rogue making a huge amount of units here. Just going to try to go for a counterattack. We see Trust making 1 sentry, the saddest sentry I've ever seen. And here we go, Rogue now pushing across the map. He's remade that gigantic army, and it doesn't look like there's any answer for Trust here.
He's down 60 supply at this point. What can he possibly do? He doesn't even have Storm. He's only got feedbacks for this army, and 1 force field to help out is simply not enough for Trust.
Yep, that's going to be it. Rogue is going to finally take out the series 2-1. A couple of big mistakes from Trust will lose him those games. Rogue goes ahead, and he will revisit us again in the winner's match.
Very well played from Rogue. Just a very straight-up game. Knew what he had to do, and kind of a blunder from Trust, you know, getting that DT try and scout it out. But not only that, but then going for DTs after that, like it was going to be a big surprise. Completely failed. He invested 3 DTs into that, and it got crushed.
This is just something you see from a lot of these players that are not too experienced. You know, coming out here getting a bit nervous in game number 3. He was looking okay in the first game against Rogue, but then again in games number 2 and 3, some critical mistakes. Kind of reminds me of the play of Ragnarok, actually. You see the potential there. He's like a decent player, but he hasn't quite made it up there to the upper echelons of the players here of StarCraft.
Yeah, it seemed like a mechanical level more than anything else was the real difference there. I'm not too surprised at that, to be honest.
Yeah. We've touted Trust as kind of the big underdog of this group. Let's see if he can get any more work done in the losers match. But guys, we're going to take a 5-minute break before we go into Fantasy versus Sue. That should be a pretty interesting one. We'll see you after the break. Stay tuned.